What's up, everybody? It's Justin. Hey, today's combative skills and drills, we're going to be going over knife control from a standing position. Going to give you guys some options to work in the clinch here. So there's a lot of good companies out there that teach self-defense when it comes to edge weapons. Obviously, you've got a little bit of that in Sheepdog's Protector 1 course, but there's other good companies out there like ShivWorks. You've got Rogue Methods, and of course the SOC-P program. But essentially, we're going to break this down for you. It's just fighting in the clinch. It's grappling with the presence of an edged weapon. We're going to give you a couple techniques that you can use to defend yourself if an edged weapon comes out during a fight. So there's a couple techniques that we can talk about here in the clinch when someone presents an edged weapon. Unfortunately, a lot of times we don't know that there's an edged weapon in play until we're in extreme close quarters or if I've been stabbed with something, okay? Obviously, if I've got lots of space and distance, I think I'll just run. So there's two techniques that people usually focus on for controlling the knife. We just want to make sure we understand the principle. Our priority number one is to control the weapon, okay? If we can control the hand, then we can control the weapon. That's the biggest strategy here. The two techniques that you'll commonly see out there are what we call the dive and drive. Essentially, we're focusing on the wrist and we're shoving this thing down. A lot of times we're using our head to get inside head control here, and we're driving this thing down, controlling the hand, keeping the weapon from puncturing me. The second technique that I kind of prefer is a 2-on-1 control, we call it. We're simply going to find the bicep and slide it down to the wrist, okay? Part of the reasoning for that is a lot of times this wrist can be hard to find out here to catch it, okay? A lot of times the bicep is going to be easier. I'm straightening my arms. I may still get cut, but I'm going to slide down and prevent this from puncturing me. I'm also going to get that inside head control and drive this down. Obviously, I have to be cognizant about the other hand here. Guys that are really trained in like the Filipino martial arts, they'll use both hands very, very well with slashes, parrying, and cutting. They use both hands. So I do need to be cognizant of this, but we really want to focus on priority number one, and that's to control this hand. I'm in close quarters. I realize my attacker has a knife. I'm controlling the bicep, sliding down to the wrist, using my head for inside head control. I'm going to step to the outside, go to this 2-on-1 arm control. This is also known as a Russian tie, guys. I want to control this bicep, and I want to bring this wrist down to my hip. It's very important that's a hip. I have much more leverage here. I like to keep my head on the inside still so that I've got control of this. And all I'm going to do, guys, is I'm going to snap him down to the ground. I'm going to pull him and apply pressure to the arm. Once I'm here, there's a number of things that we can do. I like to drive this to the ground, pin it, and I'm going to give him some encouragement to let go of that knife. I can also keep control of this wrist, deliver strikes, and I can work on stripping this, doing our finger rake to remove this knife from my attacker as well. If we're armed with an edged weapon ourselves, we can gain control a different way. Same thing, I've realized that there's a knife in the fight. I'm gonna go to the head to this bicep control, slide it to the wrist, inside head position, I'm driving this hand down to keep it away from me. I'm now going to swim off to the side, and I can either do two things. One, I can control the elbow, or I can reach in and control the wrist. Now, obviously, I can do my body lock takedown like we've seen in other videos, or I can keep this weapon controlled, come to my knife, and do as much damage as possible. Remember, guys, in the situation where an edged weapon comes out, it's going to be nasty. It's going to be brutal. The odds are you are going to get cut. We just want to mitigate as much damage to ourselves as possible. Always think of priority number one, which is control the weapon. Doesn't matter, we don't want to get caught up on situational type training. We just got to control that weapon, and we got to try to improve our positioning after that. If we've got an edge weapon, we need to get that thing in play ASAP. If we're not getting out there and training, actually doing this with a partner, it's just theory. Get out there and train.